Sukhasana is wonderful. So we're in crisscross applesauce. And from here, think about, take your hands and press them into the outer knees and then just shift them close. Maybe shift your feet in closer. So we're tightening up this direction. If that's too much or it hurts in your knees or your hips or makes your knees rise too much, just back off again, right? Let it be open. But just play with this narrower than normal Sukhasana. Open your hands, sit tall, close your eyes. And as we have been lately really thinking through the structure of the spine, root down into your sits bones and then think about where your shoulders are in space and draw them back over your hips. Bring your head into alignment and center, perhaps drawing your chin back slightly so that your head is floating right over center. Soften your shoulders down away from your ears. And just be with this moment of arrival. And even in this easeful pose, this easeful moment of just being with the breath, notice if there's any place in the body that's working that doesn't need to work. Sometimes it's your face. Maybe your mouth is tight or your eyebrow is tight. Sometimes it's your hands efforting open wide. Could be your toes, your feet. Just notice if there's anything that can soften. And then get up close and personal with the muscles of your face, because oftentimes that's where it happens. Even sitting in meditation, I often notice that my muscles around my mouth will tighten just very slightly, but they don't need to. They're not doing anything. So just notice if there's any part of your body trying to help that doesn't need to right now. So walk through the muscles of your face, around the jaw and the mouth, eyes, forehead. As we move towards this camel pose, it's the glutes that want to do a bunch of work, just sort of naturally. And if we can keep them more out of the mix, we can protect our low back in this pose. Just noticing what else is helping that doesn't need to is what we're doing. One more breath. Next exhalation, allow your chin to draw towards your chest, bowing your mind towards your heart. And then inhale, roll your chin up over your right shoulder. Look up higher than your neck can go. Roll it down. Roll the chin up over the left shoulder. And release it down. Back to the right. Slow motion, no rush. Just being with what's here. Still noticing if anything else is trying to help that doesn't need to. Maybe your shoulders. Just two more. Last one each direction. And if eyes are not open, open them. Hold on to the knees, roll back, rounding the spine, chin toward chest. Seated cat pose. Elongate the arms, roll all the way back. And then inhale, pull your heart forward, draw your elbows back, look up. Stretch all the way up to the chin. Point the chin skyward, but keep the back of the neck long in an arch rather than a collapse. As you're ready, pull back again, belly button towards spine, rounding. Elongate the arms. And then exhale, lift up. Draw the heart up, draw the chin up. And come to neutral. From here, spin the feet to the left, tucking the left ankle in the well of the right arch, push into the right hand, shift your hips over to the left a little bit. Inhale your right arm up and over toward the left. Side stretch. You can take your left hand and hold on to the front of the shin, maybe even tucking the fingertips underneath the shin. Roll the right shoulder back a little bit more. And then on your inhale, come up. We'll bring our left hand to our right thigh, right hand behind, opening the twist. And exhale, opposite twist, closing the twist. Right hand to left leg, left hand behind, sit tall. Elongate out of the rooting of your sits bones, even though maybe your left one's off the floor. On an exhalation, reach hands back, one to each side of the mat, and then slide them behind you. Draw your legs forward, reach up through the legs. So lean back as much as you like, bend your elbows a lot. And then inhale, come up, right into the boat pose. Reach your hands alongside, part your feet. Lengthen through the crown. And then exhale, knees in, come up a little bit more, make it easy. Exhaling, deepen. Inhaling, come up. Exhaling, deepen. Inhale, come up. One more. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, come up. Let's spin our legs to the opposite side. So you can obviously make your feet just parted or tuck that ankle into the well of the arch. And then left hand roots into the floor. Push toward the left. Fingertips that direction so that your sits bones can sink a little bit. Listen to your knees. Rise up through the crown. And on your exhalation, left arm reaches up and over. Right hand can hold on to the right shin or rest on the floor. Once you get here, roll that left shoulder back slightly. Lift the heart a little bit. It's easy to kind of curl in. Instead, elongate. On your next exhale, we'll spin that left hand behind, right hand to left thigh, open twist for a breath. And left hand to right leg, right hand behind, closing the twist. Roll the right shoulder, open, 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 root into the right fingertips, elongate out of the rooting of the left sits bone through the crown of the head. Exhale back to center, hands come behind you. Now lean back again, extend the legs long, and find your boat. When you're ready to inhale, rise up, knees come in a little bit. Exhale, dip down, pause. Rising up. Give a little movement to your shoulders. They can get pretty tight here. Then press straight and pause. Rising up one more time. Easy boat. Any movement you need. And then last time, we'll press it straight and hold. Draw the soles of the feet together. Cobbler's pose, hold on around the ankles. Pull the heels in as close as feels good. Sink the elbows downward, rise through the crown of the head. And once you've arrived in cobbler's pose, sit up really tall. See how long you can make your spine. And then left ear comes toward left shoulder. Flex your feet, open your toes. Now maybe just trace around with your chin a little bit, exploring that huge stretch in the side of the neck. Such a simple movement, but you can really go deep, so be careful here. And then inhale, lift the head in alignment with the spine. Exhale, right ear toward right shoulder. And explore on that side, listening to the body. Find a place where there's more release to be had and pause there maybe. thighs become heavier and heavier. Inhale, lift the head. Roll back, chin toward chest, belly button towards spine, elongating the arms. And scoop up. We're going to spin the legs to the side and come up. Get after this road to camel pose. So wrap your weight a little bit side to side in the knees, and then exhale, belly button towards spine, easy cat pose. Soften belly toward the earth, easy cow pose. Exhale, cat. Allow the head to hang, tail to drop, belly button to round in, and then soften the belly toward the earth. Now notice if you've dumped into your shoulders, still lengthen through the crown of your head. There's all this movement that can happen here. We can stay really sunken or we can stay elongated. So lift, pressing down into the hands. When you're ready, let's send our, first of all, come to neutral spine. Send your right foot back behind you. Spin the right heel to the ground, left hand center, right hand sky. Shifting up into modified side plank, reaching up through the right hand. And then maybe, if you're feeling good about it, look down at your left hand and you can crawl your left fingers forward or your left hand forward a little bit, maybe 2 inches or so. You can even tuck the left toes if you like. And begin to lift the right foot off the ground. Maybe not. So it's like grounded, it's called, well, that didn't work. Grounded half moon. You can spin that left foot behind you a little farther, and then you get a little wider base. So reach up through the right hand, out through the left leg, down through the left hand. And one more breath. Exhale, right foot down, right hand down. Spin that left foot in toward the midline, right knee comes down. So rock your weight side to side, one cat-cow, belly button towards spine round. Inhale, belly toward the earth, lift the head, lift the shoulders, and then coming to neutral, we'll step the left foot back, left heel down, right hand a little more toward the center, left hand sky. So stay here in modified side plank. This can be plenty, or if you'd like more, look down at your right hand, maybe crawl it forward a little bit. So decide this right toes can tuck, or you can spin that right foot a little bit behind you to widen your base and then lift the left foot off the ground. Breathe and expand out in all directions. Where's your breath? Now in this challenging pose, is there any other part of your body that's helping that doesn't need to? One more breath. Exhale, left foot down, left hand down, left knee to the ground, spin the right foot in. And from here, let's turn our toes under, walk your hands forward a few inches and come up into downward dog. Releasing the weight of the head, we're going to inhale up high into our tiptoes, shift forward to plank. So adjust the distance between your feet and hands if you need to be in plank pose, and elongate from tail to crown. Now inhale, lift your right foot off the ground and send the right foot up into the sky. Sink the left heel, big stretch for the left leg. Now exhale, right toes to tap the back of the left ankle, shifting forward. Inhale, send the right foot high. Exhale, tap toes to ankle. Inhale, send it high. Exhaling, toes to ankle. Inhale, up with the right leg. One more time, tap. And raise the right leg, bend the knee and stack the hip. Looking under the right armpit for a moment, sink that left heel even more. Rooting into the hands. Big stretch for that left leg. On the inhalation, right leg extends. We sweep the right foot up between the hands. Into a lunge, let's pause for a moment and shift your right hip crease back slightly. You can use your right hand to just remember where it is in space. And sink the left knee to the ground. Inside of this low lunge, press the fingers down and pull the mat back toward you. Pull it, back toward you so you get more stretch in the front of that left thigh. And turn up the volume a little or a lot here. Finding your edge. Roll shoulders back, lengthen through the crown. Stretching out those hip flexors, elongating there. One more breath. Now on your exhale, let's send our right knee back next door to our left knee, which should put you in perfect position for knee down plank. So we're still in an incline, and on your exhale, elbows draw back toward the waist, we lower all the way to the ground. Slide your elbows forward, hands come out in front, we're in Sphinx pose. So before we come up in Sphinx pose, we want to think about here even staying out of the low back. We want to begin from the upper back. So root down from the elbows to the fingertips, tuck the chin toward the chest, elongate the crown of the head forward, root down into the elbows so that you're pressing down in all this space. So if you think about it, there's not even really a back bend. This is just a little bit of an incline, little tiny back bend. But if we push down and lift up our head, there's a lot more here. So make sure you're staying out of that dumping in the shoulders. Then think about where your sternum is. So if you want to tap it with your fingers, you can. The space right here, this breastbone, and then pull the mat back towards you. Draw the heart forward. The mid-back back if you can. And lengthen through the crown. So just thinking through what's happening in the body before we get too deep. And then on your exhalation, elbows roll out to the side. Bring your head to your hands and rock your weight a little side to side in the legs. Lift your right leg off the ground. From the thigh out through the foot. And then sink that right leg. Lift the left leg. And sink the left leg. Now, bring the hands back next to the hips. Remember that same action where we tuck the chin in and then begin to lift the shoulders, lift the heart, lift the legs in the same way we just did, from the thighs to the feet, locust pose. See if you can roll your shoulders open even more. Exhale, lower down. Maybe clasp the hands on the sacrum. Drag the knuckles toward the heels, tuck the chin at first, begin to lift and rise in this bound version of locust pose. Lift the legs, press out through the toes. Exhale, release. Giving some extension in the arms there, press down into the hands. We're gonna find upward dog, so push the floor forward at first, press into the tops of the feet, rise up, and then lift your gaze, roll shoulders back. On your next exhale, find your downward facing dog. Pressing back, that's a lot of back bend, so be careful as you arrive in down dog. Two more breaths here. Inhale up high to the tiptoes. Shift your weight all the way forward into plank. Finding your plank pose. And then we'll lift the left foot off the ground. Inhale, send it up into the sky. Sink the right heel. Press into the hands. On an exhalation, we'll sink left toes to the back of the right heel, shifting forward. And inhale, lift. Exhale, shifting forward to tap. And inhale, rise. Tap. And rise. Just one more tap. And rise. Left leg bends. We're going to sweep that left foot behind the body, stacking the hip. And rooting into the hands. Next exhalation, we'll straighten the left leg, sweep the left foot between the hands. Into our lunge, pausing for a moment, shifting left hip back slightly, just building the lunge with some nice square hips, roll the shoulders back. And from here, right knee comes to the ground and Root into the hands, lengthen through the crown, and we'll, did we come up? We didn't come up. No idea what we did here. Did we come up? We didn't come up. We didn't come up. We pushed forward to get the stretch in the front of the left thigh because we're elongating the thighs and we're working that space. So that's good. So rooting into the right knee, the left foot, push the floor forward with the hands, lengthen through the crown. My notes are really small. They're on a Post-it. So shoulders roll back, heart pulls forward. Feel that awesome stretch in the front of the right thigh. And if you're not getting a big stretch there, shift your weight forward a little farther. Now on your next exhale, hands root, and we'll step back to plank pose. And the top of plank pose, lengthen forward through the crown of the head, out through the heels. Shift forward on the toes, lower halfway. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. One more breath here. Inhale the right leg up into the sky. Exhale, shift forward to plank, tap right toes to left heel. Inhale, send it up really high and tap. Inhale, extend up and tap. Last one, reaching high and bend the knee, stack the hip once more, left heel sinks. Allowing the left heel to sink more and more and more. Inhale, straighten the right leg. We'll sweep it up between the hands. And once more, left knee is going to come to the ground. This time we will rise up. Reach. Root into the front foot. See if you can stack your left hip over the knee at first. Elongate upward. And then we're going to shift the hips forward for more stretch in the front of that left hip flexor. Reaching. Now inhale back out. Let's bring our hands behind our head. And then see if you can press the hands there. Lift up on the occipital bone, the back of the head. And then dip forwards, keeping a nice length in the back of the neck. Elbows reach up. Even more. Inhale, unwind into a nice deep lunging back bend. And then we'll spin the hands to the ground. Lift the left knee and step the left foot forward next door to the right foot. Hold the elbows, allow any tension in the back to drain away. Soften your knees as much as you need to. Okay, so looking down at your feet, we're going to heel and toe our feet right next door to each other. So your big toes are touching and your heels are slightly parted. Now, actually, you can bring your heels even closer if you want to for this one. We're going to press our knees together, which we usually don't do, but we're not going to use the blocks today because I can't find them in the building. So begin to bend your knees, press the knees together, let your torso come towards your thighs, and draw your shoulders back, begin to bend more and more and more. We're moving to chair pose, but we're going to press our knees together. Lift up into chair, sort of wonky, pressing the knees together. So when we're in camel later, we want to think about drawing this adductors. We want to activate our adductors, draw our legs toward each other, rather than allow them to splay out, because that's what happens when the glutes take over, is everything sort of moves outward. It's an external rotation there. So just imprint this feeling, bring your hands to your heart, of this drawing inward here, and then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, using your heart to lead and fold in. One more time, bend the knees, sink hips low, rise up into this knee pressing chair pose. Let's bring our right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to low back. Think about drawing the left shoulder back as you sink toward the right elbow. Coming into prayer twist, narrower than normal base. Elongate the neck. And then when you're ready, we'll sweep the hands to the ground, straighten the legs, release the weight of the head. One more time, bend the knees, tuck the knees together, rising up into chair. Left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand to low back. Right shoulder pulls back, left elbow sinks low, and maybe the right hand comes around. So we're just focusing on this internal rotation of the thighs. Next exhale, hands come down, and we'll step right back to plank pose. From our plank pose, lower half. Inhale, upward dog, drawing heart forward, rooting down into the hands, and downward dog when you're ready. Left leg reaches up into the sky, right heel sinks, bend the knee and stack the hip. Doing a little reverse here. Right heel sinks, sinks, sinks. Head is released. Arms are long and hands are rooting. Inhale, left leg straight up. And then we'll take the left toes to the back of the right ankle, shifting into plank. Inhale it up. Exhale to tap. Inhale it up. Exhale to tap. Inhale it up. And left foot steps between the hands. And from here, right knee comes down. We rise up in our little lunge. Straight up and down at first with hips stacked, right, shoulders right over hips. And then shift the hips forward. Just see what's there. Inhale, come out. Bring our hands behind our head and really lift up on the head with the arms. Elbows rise as we lean back. Nice arch in the spine. Pressing head into hands, hands in head. Unwind the arms. Exhaling, hands to the ground. And lift the right knee, step the right foot forward next door to the left foot, releasing the weight of the head. Inhale, rise up in chair pose, traditional chair pose. And we'll press the air away, making hands float to heart center. Another way to focus on this internal hip rotation is to practice eagle legs in a unique way. So we're gonna pigeon toe just a little bit, letting our knees drop in, and then come into chair pose, which feels really wonky. And then once we're here, we've made some space. We're going to, a little odd, but that's okay, made some space for our leg to wrap. So if you sit down deep, shift your weight into your left foot, lift your right and step it across. Right toes can stay on the ground, it's perfectly lovely, or if you want to wrap. We've made some space for that to happen and worked that internal rotation of the thighs. Sit with a simple pigeon toeing before we got here. So once you're in your eagle legs, sit down deep, find your edge. And as you are ready, come up and out. Step the right foot down. Square off the feet, find chair pose once more. So can you imagine having a block here and pressing inward? That helps some of that internal rotation as well. You can take your two fists maybe, press them right above the knees and push together, activating the legs in a different way. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come up and out. Now we'll pigeon toe once more, just a little bit. And then sink down into chair. Pigeon toe chair, and then shift your weight into your right foot. Left foot steps across. And maybe we wrap, maybe we don't. Maybe it just touches the outside of the leg. Just find your eagle legs. Still internally rotating, even this top thigh, pull it inward, squeeze the backs of the knees together. One more breath. Inhale, unwind, standing tall in mountain pose. So notice your structure here in mountain pose. And spin the palms open, root down into the feet, rise through the crown. One more breath. Sink chin toward chest, reach arms skyward. And blinking eyes open if you haven't already. Take a swan dive. Releasing any tension in the back. As you're ready, we'll root the hands once more, step back to plank. And from your plank pose, let's see if we can lengthen from tail through crown and lift your right foot just an inch off the ground. Our core needs to be engaged for a safe camel pose. So we're going to engage it here in the plank. Right foot comes down, lift the left foot, just like an inch off the ground. Left foot sinks. Bend your knees, press your torso back toward your thighs, down dog. Letting go of all the way to the head. Rooting down into the hands. And on your next exhalation, let's send our right leg up into the sky. Reach, 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 left heel sinks. Let's bend the right knee and make some big, huge circles with the right knee, coming all the way next to the left knee and around. Keeping the torso and arms, legs still in that upside down V as we make some nice big circles with the right leg. And reverse the circles. And then as you're ready, set the right foot down next to the left foot. Stretch it out. Sink the heels. On an inhalation, rise onto the heels, shift forward to plank pose. And exhale, belly button towards spine. Inhale, heels rise, and we shift forward to plank pose. Exhale, belly button towards spine, back to down dog. Last time, heels rise, we shift forward to plank pose. And exhale, back to downward dog. From here, we'll bring our knees to the ground. Bring your hands up towards your thighs. We're gonna move into gate pose. So let's see. Our left leg's gonna come out along the ground. You can turn your toes in slightly or keep them extended, your choice. Just see how that feels in your knee. Inhale, arms skyward. And exhale, left hand toward left leg, right hand up and over. Reminder to shift that right shoulder back slightly. Soften the left shoulder. Inhale, swim the right hand over to the ground on the right side body. You can let that right foot spin in a little bit. Left leg lifts, left arm lifts. Is it easier now to come into this fallen half moon? Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Exhale, left foot down. We'll just crawl our hands forward to the top of the mat. Step back to plank pose. From our plank pose, exhale, belly button towards spine, back to down dog. Left leg in the sky. Sinking the right heel. And root down. Bend the left knee, and we're going to make some big circles with the left knee. Either direction, we'll get both. And reverse the circles. And bring the left foot back to the ground. From here, root down in the heels, let go of the weight of the head, root down in the hands, and then exhale the knees back to the ground. Sliding hands up toward thighs. If your knees are compromised, we can roll the mat over under the knees. And from here, we'll send the right foot out to the side. Inhale, arms skyward, reach. And right hand to right leg, left hand up and over. Gate pose, Parigasana. So right shoulder sinks, left shoulder rolls back slightly. Still in alignment with the whole torso. One more breath. Exhale, left hand floats to the ground. Left foot can spin in a little bit for comfort of that knee. Lift the right leg. It's easier because your legs are awake, because we've done a lot of grounding poses. One more breath. Exhale, right foot down. Right hand crawls around in front with the left foot. We'll bring the right knee in next door to the left knee. Let's cross left knee to center, right knee behind, and sit back over the legs, just in a big squeeze, bringing out. Coming up, we'll shift the left or right knee into center. Left knee comes behind our opposite side. Sit back. Exhaling, rolling up onto the knees, then unwinding, step right foot and left foot back to plank. And from our plank pose, let's shift forward on the toes, lower half. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Right leg reaches high. Just 3 taps. We're going to bring the right toes to the back of the left ankle, shifting into plank. Lift right leg. Exhale to tap. Inhale, lift. Last tap. And lift. Right foot sweeps up between the hands. Inhale to crescent pose. Rising up. Reach. Exhale. Let's cross our hands at the top or just clasp them, however you like. Lifting the torso, so the rib cage, lifting the rib cage up. You can press the palms together. Keep space for the throat. Find your edge. Elongating the arms. Exhale, hands around behind the back to clasp. Shoulders roll open and back. We're going to need this shape later. So imagine that bowling ball. Let it bring you into a back bend if that feels okay to your balance, to your body. Exhale. Begin to straighten the front leg. Take this. Hands can stay clasped or not. And take this wider than normal pyramid pose. Just stretch forward, all the way forward, leading your heart toward that front foot, arms raised. As much bend in that front knee as you need. Exhale, release hands to the ground. From here, step the left foot forward, next door to the right foot. Hold the elbows. Inhale, chair. So keeping the thighs parallel is one thing, but thinking about internal rotation is another. So just don't let the thighs drop out. Don't press into the long edges of the feet. Distribute your weight around the feet evenly. Inhale, arms down to go up. Elongate the legs, reach to the sky. Take a swan dive. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, fold. Release. Hands plant, step back to plank. Let's have 3 push-ups. Shift forward on the toes, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Feel free to skip them. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press to the top. Last one, lower. Pressing to the top, and you can either go through the regular vinyasa to down dog or however you want to get there. Inhale, left leg into the sky. 3 taps, shifting toes to ankle, shifting into plank. Inhale, send it up, up, up. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, send it high. Exhale, come forward. And inhale, send it high. From here, left foot steps up between the hands. Root into your feet. Rising crescent. Hands connect. Find your edge. Keep your focal point. Soften the back knee if you need to. Unwind, hands clasp. Find our back bend. Lifting from the sternum first. Inhale, when you're ready, begin to ease yourself into this forward fold. Straightening the front leg. It's a balance still, so be careful with you. Pour forward. Releasing hands down. From here, we'll step back to plank. And from our plank pose, let's draw the knees to the mat. You can sit down on your heels for a moment if that's okay with your body. Walk the hands back behind you. Root the hands, and we're just going to lift our hips off of our thighs. So this is inclined plank, and we're going to play with a higher version of this as we move into camel pose, but think if you can internally rotate your thighs here rather than letting the knees press out to the sides, because they probably want to. So draw them inward and then root down into your hands, opening from the heart. Keep this nice long line of energy from the knees to the crown of the head in this half plank. And then we'll sink our hips down, come up, walk your hands forward, and we're going to come up into our prep for camel pose. So camel pose, again, we don't want our glutes to take over in this one. So first we want to root down into the knees, elongate. Let's see, we want to roll on those, internally rotate, right? So it may mean pressing your thighs toward each other a little bit. So there's that little shifting that can happen, and maybe that feels yucky on your knees. So roll the mat over. We'll draw the knees inward, maybe tuck the toes if that's part of your practice. But what we want to focus on first is that reclined sensation that we just had a moment ago. So it's challenging because the gravity is pressing down on you, but instead we want to play with turning on the elongation of the thighs, rolling them inward, then just lean back. So it's that same plank pose. And so we're using our core. We woke it up already today. So we're using the strength of our core to just allow ourselves to lower down. So play with this just a couple of times and see if you can keep that integrity of this elongation from knees. Yeah, instead of, don't lean back your head, come into this shape of yes, yes, yes. Yeah, play a little bit more. And now from there, we're gonna keep, God bless you. We're gonna keep that, God bless you. That's a hard place to sneeze. So again, internal rotation of the thighs. We're gonna do that same action this time, lean back. Now, if you know you don't wanna go all the way in, you can just bring your hands to your low back and lean back and play with this version. And then once you get here, let's all play with this. Let's play this way in just to be safe. So we're gonna stay in that reclined. So just as much as is okay for you. Hands wrapped. So we're not back bending yet, we're flat. Now, engage the core, lift just the heart. There's your back bend. And then press your thighs forward so that we don't dump into the low back. It's more of an upper back bend, okay? And so coming out, let's sit down for a moment. You can find any position that feels good to you. Coming into child's pose or rabbit, whatever's just right. Allow your head to sink toward the floor and elongate the back. Head releases. Now inhaling, walk yourself back up. We're gonna play to the edge here. So one more time, so a lot of the time we should teach this with the hands in the low back, and that pushes everything forward and starts it at a low back bend. Today we're really focusing on this upper back bend. So once more, plank pose, we lean back. We're just an inclined plank, right? So we're gonna get there, then we're gonna keep our tailbone tipped down. And from here now, lift the heart. Maybe hands reach for heels, maybe not. And thighs shift forward. Inhaling, come up. And one more time into our fold, whatever feels good to you. Maybe child's pose, maybe rabbit. Two more breaths here. Now walk your hands way out in front and over to the left. Side stretch. Maybe bringing the right hand around the back to open up to the side, maybe not. Inhaling, walk the hands over to the right. Staying in the fold, or maybe left hand comes to the low back and we turn open a little bit. And when you're ready, we come down, hands come forward, one more breath in, child's pose. Walking yourself up to table, we're going to bring the legs to one side and come down onto our backs. And from your back, draw the knees into the chest. We'll give the back a little love. Rock side to side. Bring your arms out like camel, and then just let the knees drop side to side. So we're getting some good twists in. Just easy does it twists.
And then we'll plant the feet on the floor, heel and toe the feet apart, let the knees drop together a moment for releasing the psoas. So from here, let the shoulders sink, face soften. Heel and toe your feet a little closer together, aligning them with the hips, and then we'll reach our hands toward our heels, roll the shoulders down, press the hands down, lift the hips, just lift up from the hips, and then see if you can lift from your solar plexus next. And then press down even more, maybe clasping the hands underneath, maybe not, coming into bridge. Stay here, or maybe lift the right leg, up, up, up. Some ankle circles, that right foot, maybe bring the right foot back down, root down into the feet, lift the hips once more, chin toward chest, and we'll release out. We'll come back in a moment. Let the hips come down easily. Let the arms come out like cactus arms once more, knees lift, and we'll drop the knees over to the left. Pause in the twist. Looking for a really happy, happy spine today. Lots of energy moving in your body. One more breath here. And we roll back onto our backs. And lift the knees, we'll drop them over to the right. Rolling the feet back to the ground, we'll place them hips width distance. Reach for your feet with your hands. Upper arm bones roll down. Press into the feet, just lift the hips. Easy does it. Then think about the solar plexus lifting, the heart lifting. Hands clasp, maybe, maybe not. Chin comes toward chest, feet root. Maybe we lift the left leg. Some ankle circles. Exhale, left foot down. Lift your hips even higher. Unwind the arms, unwind the shoulder blades. One vertebra at a time comes down. Now soles of the feet come together. Recline cobbler's pose. And make your way into Shavasana. Whatever you need, any final movement or layers of clothing. And as you arrive into Shavasana, find this connection to earth. And then begin to soften everything. First, by allowing the weight of your heels to sink into the ground, the weight of your hips to sink. Toes, big toes drop out toward the sides of the body. Shoulders sink into the ground. Arms and hands sink down. The head sinks into the ground. And then as you release the weight of your head down, down, begin to soften your face. Focusing on the space between your eyebrows at first. And then allow that softness to radiate out from there through the eyes and the nasal cavity and the mouth. Soften the jaw and
And see that softness flow all the way down the throat, the shoulders, floating down arms, hands, and fingers. Release the collarbones, the chest, the belly, the hips. Soften again the legs, feet, and toes. Surrender completely. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bending knees, place feet on the floor. Gather up a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, roll to your right side. Pause for a moment. Just noticing how your body feels now. And then exhaling, press into the top hand, rising up to a comfortable seated position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, chin toward chest. Ease your eyes open and inhale, arms and gaze up. Exhaling, hands to heart.